Okay. Honestly, fucking going from being good at streams to just having like a day is really demotivating. And then like, it just continues on where it's like, oh, you can't stream because you didn't play it? Well, you're gonna stop playing, and then the next day you feel even less like playing because you still can't do it, and so on. It's just, that fucking sucks the most. Trying to break through that cycle. Just like forcing yourself to actually practice is the worst thing ever. Just forcing yourself to practice something you already like can do. But yeah. Yeah, hitting a wall, like, I'm not at a wall, it's just I kind of reset, and that's normal, like, everyone resets, but, you know, it's just so tiring. Like, resetting requires such a good mindset to get past, because, you know, if you reset, like I said, if you reset, you just kind of like do a mathy, where it's just like, you think you're not good enough, so you don't even try, and then you just continue that cycle. Like the next day, oh, I'm not good enough, so I'm not gonna even try, and then just next day repeat and repeat. Like that, breaking that cycle requires insane mental. And yeah, resetting is not like common. Like it's not something that'll happen every week. It might happen like every month, which is honestly like what everyone talks about. Even I reset every month. Like this is, if you think about it, this is like my monthly reset. But then it's cool because like even if I reset, I'm still better than the last time I reset, and that also means I'll get better than before I reset. So it's kind of like this like upward wave, I guess, of improvement. And yeah, you just kind of like keeping that mental attitude, that positive mental attitude, like knowing that you're kind of like, say like before you're right here and later you're over here, but then you reached right here. It's fucking, it sucks, you know. But yeah, it takes time. Like maybe another 2 or 3 weeks I'll get back to where I was with speed. And then maybe like after a year eventually I'll stream like 240 easily every single day. Like 240 will be my worst BPM basically. Like I'll reset back to 240. Because honestly 220 is pretty new to me in terms of like streaming every day. I don't think I've like this upward wave example I'm talking about. Basically like before this reset I couldn't even stream 220 until like maybe halfway up like the wave, I guess. Now I could almost do it, it's just not really that good. And yeah, that's exactly it. But like I said, resetting is so fucking, it's so stupid. But luckily I've noticed this thing, but I just didn't know how to explain it. Like people would ask me like, oh, you know, one day I'd be really good, and the next day I'd be like really bad, and then I'd have like no good days until a month later. Didn't really know how to explain that, but now I could see, like, I could kind of like visualize how to explain that now. And yeah, we're humans, but still, like I said, keeping that positive mental attitude is really fucking hard after you reset, and you've been working really hard to get good, you know. But you know, it'll come. Like I'll get over it later. And if no one like knows what I'm talking about, still I could probably draw, like do a little sketch to kind of like show you what I mean. You know, let me go do that right now. Let me clarify, because you know this is what I gotta do. So basically, okay, let's make a fucking, let me draw with my mouse actually, lower sensitivity. So just pretend that this is your overall improvement, and this, what is it? X-axis is time, and this Y-axis is skill. skill. Okay, you can't really read that, but whatever. Say maybe like this is every interval is a month or so. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically, let's say you start off here. Let's clarify. Make let's object. Let's make a skill related to BPM. So let's say this is 200 BPM, and all the way up here is like 250. You can't, like, I don't know if you could really see that. The bit rate might be bad, but then yeah, it's just like, say you start from here. You 1 month you're like doing really good, and then you kind of like flatten out a little bit, and then after a month you just kind of like drop all the way down here. But the thing is, when you drop, you don't drop all the way back to 200. You are slightly better than before, and then this kind of like repeats. Oh, hold on. And this kind of like repeats a little bit until you keep eventually getting higher and better and better and better. This is kind of like what your skill would look like in Osu. And when you fucking reach this part again, it always sucks, and it always feels so good being like really, really good, you know? But yeah, this is kind of like your skill. And eventually maybe like your lowest, like say your lowest point would be, okay, let's change this to like 300 BPM so the graph makes more sense. So your lowest BPM would probably be 200 when you first start, and then after like 6 months later, your lowest BPM would maybe be like 210. So that's kind of like the trend of improving. And if you have like a really bad mental attitude, which is like the worst part, you sit here and then you're just like, oh, I'm bad, and then you maybe improve a little, but then you only improve like this much every month instead. And like you still improve just a little bit, but it's not as much as before if you just kept, you know, pushing yourself and then making your like increasing your worst days, or making your worst days better than before. Like say you increase your BPM by like 5 BPM every month if you practice every time, like your worst BPM by 5 BPM every month. If you just give up, you kind of do this, and you go up by like maybe 1, or maybe 1 every 2 months. So yeah, that's kind of like the hardest part about improving. You always have to try to push through just these resets basically, and everyone has them. Everyone has them. Like there's not one single person that does not, like, in which their improvement kind of looks like this. But like I said, keep working at it, you'll get an upwards trend. If you don't work at it that much, then you'll still get an upwards trend, but it's gonna look like this basically. It's gonna look really low compared to just, you know, going up pretty high. And yes, losing skill is a thing, but that's only if you just literally don't play. Like back to that thing I was talking about. Like say this is 250, and say you've reached your peak right here, and then you reset. But then if you just don't play, it's gonna like, your speed is just gonna gradually go down very little by little every, you know. And even if you do play like maybe like once, or if you don't practice at all, this is what it's gonna look like. Even if you play like 5-star maps, you're not practicing speed, so your speed will just look like this downward trend over here. So that's why you always gotta keep trying, and that's what I'm doing right now. And like I said for the 5th time, trying to fucking not feel like shit by every reset every month is just, oh, it fucking sucks, dude. It sucks so bad. Like my mental is honestly pretty down right now, but yeah. Like I said, if I look back, like say this is 220, and this is where I am right now, like this, like 210, I guess. A month ago, my lowest point. Oh wait, no. Okay, yeah, 220, 215. If this is where I am right now, this circle, a month ago, at my lowest point, I wouldn't even be able to stream 220. Like I could kind of do it, but not a lot. So maybe after like a week of training, I'll be able to do it. And then after a week, I'll probably go to 225, and then maybe 2 weeks I'll go back to 230 or 240, and who knows, maybe I'll reach 250 by the end of the month again, and then I reset and then go back to fucking 220. But yeah, who knows? And yeah, skill is kind of like a high maintenance thing. If okay, well, speed is, to be honest, if it was aim, like this is like 7-star jumps and this is 8 stars, you don't really lose skill. Like if it kind of looks like this, it's more of a tame graph, to be honest with you. Like I don't really notice that like noticeable dips, like huge reset dips in aim. I do notice like my speed is like this though, like huge fucking graphs, but in terms of aim, it's more like this, in my opinion. I'm not sure if, you know, everyone's the same way, but aim doesn't really get worse, in a sense. If you just don't play, it's just gonna flatline. But the thing is, it's gonna become more uncomfortable the more you go on. So let's make this red line comfortability. Like, you know, it's the same thing, but over time, it's gonna be really uncomfortable to aim, basically. If you just don't play aim, it's that comfortable range will go down, but your actual aim won't, because like I said, your aim is basically part of your muscle memory. So yeah, if you just don't play, it's at your reset, it's just gonna look like that, or it doesn't go down, it's like a flat line. And since aim is part of your muscles, you know, you basically keep that forever. Speed is not related to your muscles at all. You can't keep that, basically. Speed is kind of like based on your tendons, I guess, like how fast you can move them, and you can't make tendons like more buff or anything. Your fingers don't have muscles. So yeah, speed can deteriorate, aim does not. This is like speed over time, this is aim over time. Oh, this is aim over time. And reading is kind of like the same thing as aim. Actually, I think, yeah, reading is kind of like aim, because it's just all about learning about patterns. It's kind of like muscle memory as well, like brain memory, I guess. Yeah. Well, yeah, reading is actually just a straight line up. What am I talking about? It's reading, you're always going to improve as long as you play. Like if you like, it's kind of like aim, it doesn't go down ever. The only time when it probably does is if you play like, I don't know, reading is kind of complicated. I can't like, but it's kind of like if you play like AR 10.5, let's call this AR an 8, it's gonna like, see, this graph doesn't really make sense anymore because you can't just like fluctuate between them, right? Or maybe you can, I don't know. Oh yeah, I guess like if you just play AR 8 and 10.5, like it's probably gonna like look like this, like it's gonna flatten somewhere, and then I don't know. Wait, this graph does not really make sense, but I'll try to make it make sense. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know. Basically, I don't know how to draw the graph for this, but if your reading is kind of like this, or reading is kind of like this, if you like low and it just flattens out, and this is what do I call this? I guess the middle would be like how comfortable you are at both, and the closer you are to the middle, the closer you are to the middle, then the better your reading is, basically. I don't know. Yeah, reading is not one dimensional. I never fucking took multivariable calculus. I can't explain this shit. I'll explain this in like 2 years when I manage to pass. But yeah, that's basically it. That's improvement for you, and it's really cancer. Gotta keep a positive mental attitude. Yeah, clean desktop. It's all my homework. Like, I've explained this before. I mean, obviously I could clean it up. Like, I could delete literally everything right now. Nah, cause like homework. All these PDF files are homework. All these Word files are homework. And you have like the occasional like emote, I guess, the brim. Fucking. But yeah, that's just my desktop in a nutshell. It's really even hard to single tap this, to be honest. Probably because I was just like too busy drawing in paint rather than playing, but this is really tiring already. Okay. Anyways, honestly, I'm kind of done. I played for 2 hours, but like maybe 15 minutes was just explaining about skill and improvement. But yeah, I just gotta work for it. Like I said, it's so fucking hard. My brain sucks. Mental is hard. Getting good mental is hard. But yeah, at least hopefully I've shared this knowledge about understanding how to improve, or at least how, like, visualizing improvement, I guess. No, I play 2 hours every day, so 2 hours every day focused only on improvement is still a lot. It's not like you're probably thinking of like professional CS:GO players where they play fucking 8 hours a day, but that's not the same thing. It's like, yeah, I mean 3-4 hours is pretty optimal actually, but I can't do more than that because I just don't want to. And yeah, it feels like it's actually demotivating when you just feel like you've hit a wall as well. But like I said, walls are kind of like, I could probably explain this to you as well. Actually, no, it requires multi-variables to explain walls and improvement and skill altogether. But basically, when you hit a wall, it's kind of just like it's really hard to understand whether or not if you just suck and you should keep trying, or if it's like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to understand if you just don't have the right technique or you just suck. But it's probably just because you suck, to be honest. Like, I suck. And when you hit walls, like, yeah. Yeah, it's not like top players don't fucking, they just do everything one try. Maybe, okay, back to that graph. Let me fucking draw this again. Let me explain top players and their ability to just pop off. In fact, it's quite the similar graph actually. So like I said, something about like skill, time, skill. And if this is like the threshold for an FC on a really cool map, like, if you eventually over time you're gonna hit this threshold and then it just falls down again. Like this is like the golden spot, like the golden week of where everyone can pop off and then they just don't do anything for the next month or so. In fact, that's not even like months. In fact, it'll probably be, no, not, the intervals won't be within 1 month. It'll be like every fucking 6 months. To be honest, like my pop off intervals are always every 6 months too. Like if you look at my my top plays, all of them are done within the span of a month. But then I just do them like once every year, basically. Like, this is kind of like what it will look like. And then, next month, or let's make this shorter actually. So the intervals are every 6 months. So 1.5 year, 1 year, another 1.5 year, and then 2 years. So basically, you're kind of like, it kind of looks like this. Obviously, like, let me just draw more of these dotted lines. Like this is like 7 stars, 7 stars, 8 stars. Okay, that's a little bit too high. 7.5, 8 stars. So you'll always have this like 1 week or 1 month when you just pop off, and then you just suck for the other fucking 5 months. That's kind of like, this is just OSU, dude. You just fall off for 5 months, and then you pop off again for another month, and then you just suck for another month, or another like half year, and then there you go. That's just kind of like, yeah, it's pretty demotivating. Also, let me just edit this line to be right over here. And let me erase this fucking top line. So this is like a little bit more accurate graph, because it's kind of hard to like understand, I guess. Just delete all these lines. Okay, well, this is hard. Give me 1 second. 1 moment, please. Okay, I think I erased enough of it. So yeah, you'll always have this like 1 month period or 1 week period where you pop off, and the next 5 months will just be you sucking, basically. Even granted at like this point, which is maybe about a week before you pop up again, like you'll notice that you can play whatever you did pretty easily, and then you'll pop off for another week and then go suck balls again for another half year and then go pop off for another. It's just a fucking endless cycle. And yeah, it's all about motivation too. Cause like, yeah, Spare is right now. Spare is like at this point right now, he's fucking going off. But to be honest, like not saying that like everyone else, he's gonna fall off a little bit, and then who knows, maybe he'll come back. My motivation, well, the thing is I haven't been like practicing aim, so my aim is kind of like just flatline. Oh, let me draw another. My aim has just been like kind of like this. Okay, say from like, let's start from a year ago. This was my aim as well, like and then it just flatlined over here because I haven't been practicing it. Somewhere around like 10 months ago, I flatlined. But my speed kind of looks like this graph, like the black line right now. This is this is where I am right now. Actually, speed intervals are way more fast. And no, you can't counter it. This is just being human, basically. This is just being human. You can't really, there's really no way out of this. I guess like you could practice more every year, or spend more time practicing. So like you could kind of like scrunch up this graph a little bit, so it'll look more like this. Hold on, let me fucking delete everything. Let me make a new one. So obviously the interval in which you improve will also be based on time as well. And if you put more time in the game, obviously, okay, so I'll draw like the a reference in black. So this was just like, say if you played 2 hours every day. If you play like 3 or 4 hours every day, it'll probably look more like this. Like it's, oh wait, no, it should be higher. Hold on. Hold on. This is a little bit hard to like, yeah. Like the trend will be a little bit higher than normal, and also you'll see more resets along the way as well. So like in comparison, this is just hypothetical. I don't know if this is true or not, but I mean like in terms of like this graph, this is pretty accurate, but in terms of like how accurate this is, and it's just purely hypothetical. Like maybe in comparison, over let's say 6 months you will have 3 resets for aim, while if you only play 2 hours a day you'll only have 2 resets for aim. It's kind of like that. So yeah, you could like I said, not really a way to counteract this. The more you play, you're just gonna look like, you're still gonna follow the trend. You're gonna follow this like wave of improvement, but the playtime determines like how much intervals there are basically, and how high you can get. So like if you play 1 hour a day, you'll probably improve at a rate of, I don't know how many degrees this is. Play 2 hours a day, it'll be slightly higher, but you'll still follow the curve like I said. 3 hours, so on. Obviously there's a limit to how much you can play every day. Like I guess like it's kind of like this, a logistic curve. Say this is like, I don't know, this is purely hypothetical again. Say this is like 8 hours a day. Maybe at 8 hours a day you can't really improve anymore because you've burned out, but maybe like playing 4 hours is optimal, like where you'll see the most improvement, or maybe like 6 hours, I don't know, something like that. Dude, I don't fucking know math. Cosine x plus nx, I don't know that shit. What the fuck? YouTube series, dude, that honestly was my plan, but I'm so fucking lazy. I could like the thing is I have so many ideas from my YouTube videos. Like let me hold on. I don't know if I have my notepad anymore, but I was thinking of like 3 different series, which is like trying to like explain improvement, stuff like that, and just explaining technique, which is like one series, which is for players. Second series would be like analyzing maps from a player's perspective and like how you can make maps more playable and stuff like that. And third would be like explaining the mechanics of I don't know, maybe it's just those 2 series. I don't know. And yeah, I'm lazy to make videos, but I'm willing to fucking push through, I guess. Twitch clips and upload a video. Well, the thing is, like, when I think of YouTube videos, I think of like a really refined video. Like, obviously, you have a script, so like you just read off the script. So I'd say something like, graph A is equal to graph B or something. If I were to explain it, okay, for my example, this is why I don't upload Twitch clips to YouTube. Because like I said, when I think of YouTube, I think of very refined content, which is this first statement. Since I'm streaming on Twitch, I'm kind of like making stuff along the way. So I'm saying stuff like graph A is like similar to graph B, and you know, it's like that. So lots and lots of like stuff, I guess. Lots of what's the word? I don't know. Filler words. Yeah, there you go. That's kind of like why I don't want to upgrade. Not upgrade. Put my Twitch clips. Also, another thing I find myself doing a lot, and a lot of people doing, is that we tend to repeat ourselves if we make up stuff. So, like, you know, I would explain graph A is equal to graph B, but then somewhere along the way, if I'm streaming, I would say, like I said, graph A is equal to graph B, and then, you know, keep talking about it, even though I made my point already. So yeah. Yeah. So basically it's kind of like that. And I was gonna make that point. I caught myself this time. I was gonna say, since I was gonna say it, I'll just say it again. That's why I don't make YouTube videos, or at least, yeah, don't upload Twitch clips because of this. And yeah, dude, I'm a speech man. Public speaking, except for not really, because then I can't see anyone, but yeah. So yeah. I feel like, yeah, maybe I should start, like, seeing how I have nothing to do all the time. I'm just like, alright, what game should I play? Should I play Osu? Should I play something else? And then I just end up not doing anything and just going to bed and watching YouTube videos. I could, like, making videos it could be a time waste, I guess. 5 years per YouTube video, we'll see. But yeah, better at Tetris, not interested. That's all I really have to say about this topic. Obviously, like, I want to explain. Oh, what the fuck is this? Oh, I think this is the screenshot. Yeah, it's just a screenshot of both my screens with like on Tweaker. And no, Bubblman's tutorials are good, but like I feel like personally, I just feel like they're not really. What is it? They don't really clarify anything. I mean, they do, but I don't know. I've seen those series; they're really good. I guess they just don't go too much into detail. Not really enough analogies, but it is, like I said, pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty short in specifics. But I said this like 3 times already. Back to my point where I just end up repeating myself 3 times. Yeah, this is pretty deep in terms of showing like a visualization of the graph and stuff. But yeah, like I said, I want to explain reading, but I couldn't because, like someone said, it's pretty much like I don't know about anything about multivariables, so I can't really show this graph, but I would assume it's something like this. Like, this is error 10.5, this is error 8, this is like time, and then, you know, you kind of like want to flatten the curve somewhere. I don't know. I have no idea how to. You see, this is like why I can't explain reading, but I could explain really simple skills like aim and stamina and shit like that. So yeah. I think I could explain about hitting walls. I just kind of have to think about it because I know why walls exist. It's just I can't put it into words yet. I'm just not like skillful enough, I guess, to put into words. It's like I'm personally, I'd feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable about stuff, but I just don't know how to explain them. I mean, after all, I've been fucking playing this game for like 6 years and overanalyzing shit. So, yeah, gotta just get better, bigger vocabulary, I guess. Economic graphs, really? Okay, economic graphs. Nothing more complicated. I mean, seems okay right now. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe this is complicated as shit. But yeah. I don't know anything about WhiteCat's situation. Unless you're talking about when he got unbanned. And then that's easy. It's just back to the same graph. Like he focuses a lot on aim. And obviously like if your graph looks like this, and say this is like capability to FC 9 stars, and this is like 5 stars, he was pretty much banned from here to here. So then everything you see here is that he's able to FC like 9 stars pretty consistently because his lowest point is almost at that point. So in this, like, you couldn't really see how much he improved in this time frame, like let's say 2 years, because I think that's how long he's been banned for. But yeah, if we just like zoom in on the graph a little bit, or kind of like this is his like capability to FC 9 stars, and he can do it like every fucking time, which is why you might think it's boring because he's just so good. So to the point where he just makes this super common, I guess. And yeah, this is WhiteCat. But yeah, he got banned at 3-digit. Like, I didn't really show that graph that well. That was like a jump from 5 stars to 9 stars. But a more accurate version would probably be like 7.5. Because I know he could do 7.5 stars before he got banned. So yeah, it's more like this. So like, over here, he could FC 7.5 stars, a little bit higher, and then somewhere around here, he just got banned for 2 years. So you can't really see that, and then now you see just the results of all his practice. That's probably why, like I said, probably why everyone thinks WhiteCat is so boring, even though he's really not. He sets like pretty fucking phenomenal plays. So yeah. And you might think of stuff like, oh, what about his stream aim? Well, I mean, aim is aim. Can't really... Like, their jump aim and stream aim is kind of related, not in the sense of they're the same thing. Like, wait, hold on. Okay, I don't know if I could explain this correctly, but say this is your screen. I'll try to explain the similarities between jump aim and stream aim. So when you're aiming, obviously aim is defined as going from one point to the next. And you don't need to be as accurate as possible. Like, these circles can be fucking huge. As long as you go to them, it doesn't need to be even towards the middle. Like, this is just aim. You're hitting cross-screen jumps. At a point, it's called precision by making circles smaller, so you have to aim more towards the middle. Oh, I can't really aim, but yeah. So these are like precision. This is precision. So the thing is with aim is that okay, let me see if I can explain this. I know what I'm talking about, but so the thing is with aim, if you're really good at aim, like you could do this or some shit, all you gotta do is just move to every circle, right? With stream aim, it's just the same concept, but then you have the added skill of flow, which is like making sure you don't really like you follow a line consistently or follow a trajectory consistently. So if you're good at aim, like you could hit this, like you could aim at these no problem, but then your speed might vary between circles if you don't develop the skill. So this is like, say this is just for reference, say this is like, I don't know, like 3 pixels per second. and then maybe at one point you'll go down to 2 pixels, and then you'll fluctuate between like, I don't know, like even 6 right over here. And so yeah, this is like kind of like inconsistencies in your flow aim. So really, since WhiteCat is he's superb at aim. Like his aim is godly. He's probably has the best. No, he does have the best aim in the game. All he has to do is just practice flow. That's all he has to do. Yeah, that's just all he has to do. That's all he has to do. So then, yeah, he has the aim. He just need to practice a little bit flow. That's why you see in some little replays, like some replays, especially mine now, that if you follow a stream like this, well, let's make this or let's just make it a line. You kind of see like a lot of fluctuations in stream aim. So like, or flow, that is. You kind of like, you see a little bit of slow down here, you see a little bit of speed up here, slow, speed up again. So yeah, that's why WhiteCat's fucking good at everything, because he already has the aim for everything. He just has to develop the sub skills, which is in this case flow aim, which is just, you know, trying to move in a very consistent speed. And that's what Spare has too. Like Spare's aim is fucking phenomenal as well, and he's been developing flow aim as well, which is why you see those results recently. So yeah, like when Spare misses on a space stream, even if it's like fucking circle size 10, it's not because he went off the circle or anything. It's just simply because he wasn't like it's not like his aim looked like this. Oh yeah, it's not like his aim looked like this. It's just more like because his speed fluctuated somewhere in between these circles. Like maybe a slowdown here caused him to tap right over here, and then he sped up back again and tapped this precisely. That's kind of like what flow aim is. And yeah, he's been really good at streams for a long time. But like, this is another level. Like this is like, you know, the graph I've been saying. This was him before. This is him now. 8 stars, 8.5 star streams versus maybe like 8 stars, or like, I don't know, 7.8. The thing is, I don't want to have basics on how to improve on streams, how to improve on aim, because a lot of those exist already, and a lot of those are just like, oh, you know what, just play more, you know, just try to they say like really, they just only touch the surface of these things. They're just like, oh, you know, you just gotta travel, you just gotta read every note individually, so then you don't mind block anything. Like read the square as just 1-2 jumps or something. But that's just lightly tapping the surface of just how in depth these explanations can go, which is what I really want to do. It's just like creating really in-depth stuff. But yeah, honestly, I think I actually explained flow aim pretty well, and WhiteCat's situation on how fucking amazing his aim is, to be honest with you. Do you think I did well? Do you think you understood anything? Cause if you did, then good. I will make a fucking video. Yeah? Alright, cool. Fucking Professor idke right here. Call me Professor Yin. Got my fucking, wrote a thesis on Osu. My bachelor's thesis on Osu. And how fucking, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I gotta write a script, because like I said, I'm just basically repeating myself 20 times. Gotta make sure I can explain everything clearly and concisely, rather than saying like, oh yeah, well this and yeah, and repeating myself. How to play Osu on Paint. No, I don't have anything on my YouTube yet, but seeing how like, okay, this is honestly kind of like an experiment for myself to get criticism. So like, if I couldn't explain anything well, then you just tell me what I need to do better. But seeing how I could pretty much explain skills in depth and like improvement, the rate of improvement and stuff like that, I think it's time for me to make a series. Yeah, my bitrate is fucking dying. That's unfortunate. And yeah, that's exactly what scripts are. But the thing is, like I said, I was just trying to explain something, because obviously if I don't know how to explain it, then I can't make a script. My script would just be like mind blocked. Like it'll just be like I'm writing a paragraph about like fucking drawing circles in paint and how to do it, and then like if I can't, if I don't know how to explain how to draw circles in paint, so I'm just like stuck in this sentence or whatever. I think I already showed it on stamina. It's not like, it's like I said, it's just a, hold on, fucking go away. Okay, it's just, so stamina, obviously there is different skill sets in stamina. Like stamina in my opinion is way more complicated. The aim and reading is even more complicated because I can't show it on a 2D graph. But basically, like, hold on, let me fucking set up this graph. Say like 200 BPM. This is like average for everyone, 180 BPM. It's pretty much the same thing. You see this like upwards trend, but then like sine wave, like a sine wave, I guess. I don't even know what wave this is. I don't fucking pay attention in math. You see this upwards trend, but then every now and then you have these resets every month. Like, yeah, let's just say every month. I feel like it's every month for stamina. I feel like a lot of people would have, you know, I feel like stamina resets about every month or so. So if you reset, you kind of get like, you'll be worse than obviously at the top. So this is like, say, okay, 190 over here. Say you can stream 185 by the end of like the month, and then, but then you reset again. But that's okay because you can stream 185 now. Oh wait, no, hold on. Okay, let's make this 190. No, let's make this 200 actually, and make this like fucking 260. And so the time is totally fucked here. But let's just say that you go from 180 to 200 in about a month, and at your peak, suddenly you're just gonna drop down like out of fucking nowhere, and then but you're gonna be really bad. But the good thing is you're gonna be better than before, better than your worst. So at your worst you could only stream 180. Now at your worst you can stream 185, and next month your best will be 205, and your worst will be 190, 210. You know, this is like, it just repeats. This is just kind of how it is. That's kind of its stamina. Obviously, there's a certain point where this is going to stop. Let's talk about like genetic limits or something. But let me clarify, genetics is not how talented you are. You know how everyone says like, oh yeah, people just get good because they just have genetics. That's not genetics. Well, I mean, it is, but let's pretend that's not. So what I mean by genetics is when I say genetics is what defines genetics in OSU is the absolute limit of human capability. In fact, that's defined pretty much everywhere. Running, like athletic, like how athletic you are, how smart you are. It just depends, like how much muscle you can build up. That the limit is defined by how much genetics you have, I guess, but not if you're willing to practice. The stream's fucking pooping out. I guess I can't really explain this. Okay, let me go lower my bitrate so it's watchable, but I need to. You might not be able to see the stream as well. So let me go turn this to 1500 kilobits. Okay, good, not good, good or not good. Holy shit, my fucking ISP is so stupid. I went to 1500 kilobits and then now my bitrate dropped to like fucking 200. Holy shit. Okay, well, at least you could hear me fine, right? You might not be, like, the stream might be lagging, but you could hear me fine, right? Or is it, like, also lagging the sound of my voice? Like, how behind are you, I guess? Okay, I would assume that my stream is also lagging my voice, so... Oh wait, I think my stream's fine now. Okay, pause. Yeah, just pause and unpause real quick. Okay, fixed. Alright, cool. But my bitrate will be kind of bad, but that's okay. Okay, so let's talk about genetics again. Let's define genetics real quick. So then, I know people are just like, oh yeah, genetics are, wait, in quotes, genetics are how fast you improve, you improve. That is true, but the thing is that is also a bad mindset, because genetics might determine how fast you can improve, but that doesn't mean that you can't reach the same spot as, fast improvers. So instead, let's define genetics as the maximum limit a person can reach. Let's just define it as that. So let's talk about one. I'll draw this. Talk about the first definition. I'll draw this in red. So when people say this, genetics are how fast you improve, that is true, where your improvement is determined by, like, it could be determined by your genetics. Your improvement could be determined by your genetics, but like I said, that doesn't mean that you can never reach where the fast improvers are. So say this is like probably the cap, okay? And this is over the span of 1 year. So this is, say, the person in red, this would probably look like their graph of improvement. And but that doesn't mean that, say, a normal person can't do that. Their graph might look like this, in fact. Like, they'll eventually reach to where those genetic monsters are, but that doesn't mean they can't reach there. So that's why this fucking definition is stupid. It's just for people with bad mindsets. It's just like, just because you have talent doesn't mean that, you can't reach the same place, I guess. Like, you know how some people can run just 6-minute miles in, like, just after a week of practicing? That doesn't mean you can't do it. That just means you have to take longer. Like, maybe it might take you a month of just practice and practice. And even then, if you spend, like, okay, let's make this graph a little bit more specific. So 1 year and let's say 1 hour a day, okay? / 1 hour a day. So you could actually reach the same rate, but obviously your graph will be a lot more like this if you play 4 hours a day. So yeah, this is like, you could reach the same, you could have the same, like, you may not necessarily have the same speed of improvement, but you could reach the same, like, skill level as these genetic freaks in the same amount of, like, time, in the same amount of time span, but you need to spend more time playing. So yeah, that's basically just OSU for you. Some people are just really talented. That's every game. So yeah, this definition of genetics is really bad because it fucks with your mindset too. So we'll focus on the second one, genetics, the maximum limit a person can reach. This is where genetics are truly defined in OSU, in my opinion. Like, say this is let's say for speed, is this called an asymptote? I don't even know. Yes. This will be, let's say, this is a hypothetical. I don't know the genetic limit of speed, but let's say this is, no, hold on. Let's move it down a bit. Let's put it right over here. This, say 270 BPM. This will be the hypothetical speed that every normal person can reach, and maybe if you're really unlucky, you can only reach 260. So, and no, your genetics aren't at, your limit is not fucking 180 BPM. That is not true. You are just not fast enough. Or you're not that. You don't practice enough. Like, you might have, you might be really slow in improving, but you can reach at least 260 or 270 BPM after years of training. So this is like the definition of genetics for me. So let's say like 350 is the hypothetical absolute limit of genetics. Some people spend fucking years for this. Like maybe like let's say this is a span of over 10 years. So some people, like me especially, I actually improve pretty quick because I know the technique. I know like what I'm doing. So my graph will kind of look like this. And who knows, maybe it'll flatten out over here, kind of like this, and then to the okay, hold on. Let me redo this. My graph will kind of look like this at the end. So as you can see, there's like a logistic improvement here. This is kind of like genetics. This is genetics. Just you slowly but surely reach the end of the graph, of the absolute limit of what you can do. And like I said, this is hypothetical. I don't know what's the absolute limit of everyone, but I personally would say at least 260 or 270 BPM. And who knows, maybe you have someone even slower. Like some people also improve slowly, like they improve at a slower rate, so maybe their graph would look like this. But eventually they'll also reach the limits just over a longer period of time. So yeah, this is basically genetics. And it's not the first definition in OSU. Like first definition applies, but second definition is what truly matters. So obviously you have some people with like actual genetics that can reach 350 BPM or something, but yeah. Break the graph and just start double tapping. So yeah, this is just like, it's just your biological limit of yourself. And in OSU, I know people like, they just okay, I said this for the fourth time already, but I'll explain it again. In OSU, people just think it's the first definition, and that's a really bad mindset. And since I've explained the second definition to you, let me just show you the third thing called mindset, okay? Fucking mindset is important as shit. So I've also kind of like delved into it when I explained the first definition. Mindset is really important because the thing is, wait, let me fucking type this out. The third thing is, you can always, wait. You can never tell what your limit is unless, wait, if you stop trying, basically. That is the third thing about this. So, if, say, like, someone improves really fast, like, say, I don't know who, and their limit is 260, wait, no, let's make this graph even faster. So let's, they learn how to do it in, let's say, a span of 5 years. That doesn't mean that you can't do it. That just means you need to take a little bit more time. And the thing is, if you fucking, why can't I change my color? if you just believe that your limit is at 200 BPM, then you are setting yourself up for failure. You'll never get past 200 BPM because you don't believe so. So this will be your hypothetical graph if you just never push yourself. So the key takeaway here is that just don't think about like, oh dude, my genetics are just so bad for OSU. Just think about breaking your limit, like getting out of your comfort zone. Don't set up limits for yourself. Let your physical capabilities be your limit, not your fucking mental. So make sure your graph looks like this instead of like this, or wait, yeah, like this. And this is 200 BPM. Don't let your mental be your limiting factor. Let your physical capabilities be your limiting factor. So yeah. I don't know how to prove you are. No, I wasn't gonna end stream. I was just done with Osu. I'm trying to stream like, long time every time now. So yeah. This is topic about genetics. Hopefully I explained it well. So don't follow this first definition. Follow these two. Don't care about how fast other people are improving. Just care about whether or not you will be able to make that, when you'll do that. Just think about yourself, basically. Don't think about, oh, dude, Mirami started streaming 200 BPM when he first started. Like, okay, you could also stream 200 BPM, and while he may be able to stream 300, you know, you might be able to after a long time. Like, maybe if you learn how to do it in, like, say 4 or 5 years, you could probably do it in like 7 or 8 years. And I know that's a long time, but you'll be able to do it. You will be able to do it as long as you keep trying. So yeah, that's basically it. What if you're really fat? I don't know. There's nothing wrong about being fat. Unless you're talking about that joke I made where a lot of speed players are a little bit fat, you know? Then yeah. 7 digits FC dash ups. Dude, genetics. So yeah, this is the topic about genetics. There you fucking go. Yeah, being more physical capable also involves physical health and strength. But also another topic is that, like, or similar topic is back to speed. Like, aim, you could probably keep improving until, like, you reach like 15 stars. Who knows? Who knows the limits of aim? But in terms of speed, I think 270 is like pretty a cap for someone, because, you know, when you're with your fucking fingers, you don't use muscles to gain speed. Like, you use your, you know, you have to move your fingers faster and faster. And what's in your fingers? Tendons. You don't have muscles in your fucking fingers. So yeah, you can't really develop, you can't make like your tendons be bigger. Like, even if you do, even if you like improve the strength of your tendons, that's not going to improve your speed, because like I said, speed is something you could lose over time. It's not related to your muscles, so therefore you can lose it. So yeah, I guess this requires like knowledge on the anatomy of the hand. It's just got tendons, not fucking muscles. Just remember that. So if you don't constantly train speed, like I said before, this will be your graph. Like, say for some while you train speed, but then over time it just looks like this if you just completely stop playing speed right over here. But for aim, that's not the case. Aim, since it's muscle memory, it kind of just looks like it just flatlines. You just kind of stop right here. But you're like, let's say this red line is how comfortable you are. So when this red line, fuck, wrong color. This red line will be how comfortable you are. Your comfortability will be like this, and then eventually it'll go down. Like, you could become more uncomfortable, but that doesn't mean that you'll get worse at aim, like your actual aim. It just means that it just feels weird, basically. Well, yeah, even if you use muscle, but okay. But I'm not like I said, I'm not fucking sure. I'm not a doctor or anything. This is purely hypothetical. I don't know if even I'm right. Say even if you do move your muscles do move your tendons, I'm pretty sure speed isn't even related to how, like, this portion anyways. It's just still related to your tendons, and you can't really do anything with that. So yeah, even if you have like muscles here, like I said, this is hypothetical. I'm not a fucking doctor. I would assume that since your speed is determined by your fingers, even though you do use muscles to move your fingers, those muscles don't, like, they can't make your fingers move fast. They can't make your fingers move faster, basically. Cybervirus, thanks for subbing. And yeah, mentality's a fucking huge factor. Like I said before, if your mental cap is like 200 BPM right here, this is all you're gonna stream. Like, you're just gonna be hard stuck 200 BPM. But if you just keep practicing, eventually you'll reach the limits of streaming, and no one knows what that is. Maybe it could be 270, 260, 350. It could be even like fucking, like even something low like 240. As just keep trying basically. 400 combo, then yeah, maybe you'll just never get past 400 combo. And yeah, even if you can't stream 260, there's still like a bunch of fucking maps that are not 260, you know. Also, that's another thing, is that the amount, like, the more maps you have, lower chance there will be the lower chance that there will be anything above like 200 BPM or 220. Like the higher the BPM you go, the amount of maps goes lower basically. Oh wait. Yeah. So that's, instead of time, it's just amounts of maps. Wait. Okay, this is not right. Well, you know what I mean, right? Yeah, my mouse pad's over my tablet. Well, in terms of practice, personally, I would say, okay, oh, this is another topic I could talk about actually. Improvement in general. So, when you improve, you know, like I said, your graphs look like this, right? Like a slow upward trends as long as you keep practicing. But let's zoom in a little bit. Let's say this is like, let's say this is an SS score, and this is a, let's say like 80%. Or no, let's go from 0%. This is what your graph will look like. So SS is obviously like the best you can do in a score. So your graph will fucking look like this. And then it'll, wait, hold on. No, not like this. And then it's just a logistic curve. So somewhere at this point, maybe, it's probably more optimal. Okay, let's just call this FC then. Somewhere at this point, it's probably more optimal to just move on right over here. Like, you FC'd it, but this is probably with like 96% accuracy. So you want to try to like improve a little bit more to get 98% or 99, because going from 99 or 98%, like, it takes, to an SS, takes basically just as much time as going from 0 to, or not really, but this is hypothetical, like I said. Assuming that this is true, it would take the same amount of time to go from 0% to fucking FC, I guess. So yeah, 90% improvement or 50% of the effort. That's, yeah. So maybe somewhere at this point, when you're comfortable in this comfortable range, is when you should probably move on, because you're just kind of wasting time trying to go for an SS right over here, I guess. You don't really improve that much in this time frame, while in this, like, well, hold on, in this time frame you improve a lot, and even this here too. So yes, you should probably get more comfortable. If all you do is maybe start from right here and say like fucking 80%, and you're just like, oh, okay, that's good enough, let's move on. This is what the graph will look like. This is the same upward trend, but then this will be your limit. Hold on, let me draw in red. This will be your limit in red, simply because you just don't know how to play anything else. Like, you're not good enough to do it. So your graph will probably look like this until you get better at what you were before, or until you get better at the lower difficulty, basically. So say this is like fucking, this is obviously really exaggerated, so let's say over here is like 60%. If you go from, so this black line is 5 stars. If you go from 5 stars to fucking 8, you're gonna see this basically. And obviously you're gonna see some improvement. Like, eventually, who knows, you get like 60% and you could call that improvement. But then the thing is, you'll stay here forever, because, you know, improvement is logistic. Maybe eventually after like 1,000 years, maybe, wait, yeah, let me erase all this shit. Maybe after 1,000 years, you'll your graph will probably wait. Let me fucking. This is 1,000 years. Maybe after 1,000 years, you'll eventually reach over here because obviously there is no like. It's not like you are hard capped over here, but it's just gonna be so fucking slow. So yeah, like I said, if you want to improve pretty optimally, I'd probably say hypothetically you probably want to be really good at like 98 or 99% FCs, like somewhere over here, and then move on to a higher difficulty. And like when you move on to a higher difficulty, you'll probably start at this red line, which is like 95%, and then you'll just do the same thing basically, and repeat. That's kind of just like, in my opinion, how to improve. Thermodynamic equilibrium, is that actually a thing? I don't fucking know what that is. No. Okay, you toysman, the thing is you are not given two options. Your options are this. Your options are play for a pass until I get better. Wait, what is it? Wait, better trying map. Oh no. Yeah, play for pass to get better, or play unplayable map to get better. You see, this is a pretty fucking bad thing, because the thing is, if you want to get perfect, you have to start from being good to being perfect. You can't go from being bad to being like slightly, like you could go from being bad to slightly better, but you'll still be bad. So like, let me draw this fucking graph again. So let me draw this graph again. Say, how do I set up this graph? Okay, let's just draw this in different colors then. So this is time, skill. So if you play for unplayable map, you'll go from like maybe 5% and maybe go to like 10% basically. Because you just don't know how to play the game. Like, even if you just mash as much as you can, you're not perfecting your skills. And if you play for passes, you know, it's a little bit better. Say this is like 80%, this is like, and you 70%. It might look like something like this. So the point of Osu is, if you want to FC shit, you have to basically perfect it. So FC is up here. Yeah, it kind of looks like that. You should, if you're back to, okay, I should not have closed that graph because that graph was actually pretty good. But if you want to improve, like I said, at a certain point over here, like this is 99% FC, and this asymptote, I think that's what it's called, is an SS. Like at a certain point, this is pretty useless. You gotta at this point you want to push yourself out of your comfort zone. So obviously I would need like fucking multivariable, but let's say this like FC or SS at 5-star, SS at 6-star over here. So if you push yourself outside your comfort zone, your graph will look like this, you know. It'll just keep taking, it'll be step by step. Okay, let me make this graph a little bit better. So let's say 1 star. No, let's make this more reasonable. So like 5 stars, 5.2, 5.4, 5.6, and so on. So your graph will kind of look like this. If you play for FC, okay, and pretend these are FCs, like this star rating is also assuming that it's an FC. This is time. So you kind of just look like this if you just play 5 stars over and over and over. You'll never improve. If you FC a 5-star, you kind of have to make the decision. You have to like make the decision when you'll push yourself out your comfort zone. Then that's when you can improve. And then if you just keep playing 5.2 stars, and if you don't play anything else, then you'll be stuck there. You know, same. Yeah, and it's the same concept. Like, it just kind of looks like a step, I guess, in terms of improvement. This will kind of look like your graph for improvement in terms of, you know, your absolute like best star rating FC. No, it's not good long term. If you think that's good long term, then I don't know what to tell you. Because the thing is, like, every top player you see here FCs stuff. sure, playing for passes is fun. Like that's totally fine, but don't expect to improve because of, like I said, if you don't perfect a skill, you're not going to improve. If you don't know how to play something without understanding the basics before it, you'll never understand. I guess the best analogy would be kind of like school. Say you're taking like algebra 1. If you try to fucking take calculus 1, you could do like 1 or 2 problems outside of the entire fucking book, but you won't understand shit basically until you learn the basics before it, and that's when you know that you can improve. Like, so yeah, maybe you'll understand like one concept in calculus, like, oh, infinity is infinity, and but outside of that, you'll just get fucking stuck right here basically if all you do is just play for passes without trying to understand how to improve and get better basically. And yeah, building up foundation, that's exactly what it is. I don't know shit about math. I still don't know shit about math. And yeah, that's exactly why when you jump from 170 to 180, the skill difference is huge. So like, it's the equivalent of playing for like, it's the equivalent of like trying to FC a 6-star. Okay, say your best star is 6-star FC and you try to play an 8-star. That's the equivalent of like jumping from 170 to 200 BPM. So in quotes, 170 to 200. You don't really, there's like this huge gap of skill that you have not developed yet, basically, which you need to develop. So that's why it's better to increase BPM by either like take steps to be by one, like 5 BPM or 10 BPM, because if you just try to skip everything, then you'll fucking fail. Like same thing with star rating. You want to go from 6.1 to 6.2, 6.4, take step by step. Dude, da. Well, I think this is da, right? I don't fucking know. I can't read anymore. Okay, overall difficulty, like OD and accuracy, is kind of different. I kind of said this before, but it's like you kind of want to use star rating and BPM and accuracy as different guidelines. So if you go for FCs, so for aim FCs, you kind of want to focus on just star rating as your guideline, basically. But for BPM, you want to focus both on, or no, for speed, you want to focus both on BPM and accuracy, because accuracy is part of tapping. Like it's a really fundamental part about tapping. So let's say like 99 and then jump to 99 and then, stuff like that. Like even without, you don't really need accuracy to get good at aim. Like that's why you see fucking aim players with like 96% 9-star FCs, because you don't really need accuracy. It's just purely just based on your aim, not based on tapping or anything else. And SS is, in my opinion, worthless to go for in terms of improvement. It's better just to go for SS's if you already like are good enough. So like, back to that graph, that kind of graph. So like, say you try to improve right here and this is SS for 5 stars. If you just keep playing, like, and go get 99% on 6 stars basically over here, you could go back and just SS a 5-star pretty easily because it's easier, But yeah, if you just try to go for an SS when you're not really that good, like say SS 99% is over here, you're just gonna be wasting a lot of time that you could spend to improve. So like maybe right over here is the perfect time to push yourself outside your comfort zone, and then jump up another level and so on. Nervousness, okay, this is a totally different thing. Stamina, okay, like I said, stamina, okay, there are different types of okay, I have not explained this yet, but there are different types of stamina, like so like all these are different. These require different forms of tapping. So let's say 1, 2, yeah, these are So you have this, oh. You have doubles, you have triples, stuff like that. You have bursts, or you have a mix of everything. So before you move on, just make sure you could hit at least all of these. Even like death streaming, like so, just a bunch of fucking circles, but like at least 99%, or even 98. Maybe you don't even need 98. Maybe like 97 would be good enough, but probably 98 is optimal. So if you want to move on to another BPM, make sure you could do everything here, because if all you can do is stream, well, you're gonna get bottlenecked really badly from triples or bursts or whatever. Like say you could stream, say there's only a stream in a map, so like let's just make this line a stream because I'm too fucking lazy. So you could do this pretty comfortably at 200 BPM. As soon as there is a break in this middle, like say this is like 50 notes, fucking hold on, 50 notes of 200 BPM, 50 notes of 200 BPM. As soon as there's a circle here, you're probably gonna lose all your fucking stamina exactly right here because you don't know how to single tap. Or if there's like a triple here, and then you just lose all your stamina, so then you can't even stream anymore. That's, yeah. So you have to learn how to hit everything, every fucking pattern. Make sure, yeah, before you jump up from 200 to 210 or 205, doesn't really matter, depends on like what suits your fancy. Yeah, just make sure you could learn how to tap every possible combination of notes. Well, not every possible, but like, you know, at least be able to hit like triples, like 50 triples in a row, or 50 doubles in a row, or like 100 single taps in a row, and so on. Deathstream any BPM without locking up. The thing is, streaming, like I said, it requires different muscles. Like not muscles, but like it's like different skills. It's like a sub skill of speed and tapping. So like this, tapping this is totally different from tapping this, totally from this and this, and then so on. So if you can't really do any of these, how do you expect yourself to be able to stream? If this is like 200 BPM and you can't really do these, how do you expect yourself to stream 200 BPM without fucking finger locking, you know? If you're comfortable at this, then you could learn how to like say if you're comfortable at 200 BPM and you might not know how to stream, like, okay, when you're comfortable at 200 BPM, you don't finger lock on 200 BPM streams. That's all I gotta say. The only reason why you finger lock is because you don't have stamina to do single taps, you don't have stamina to do doubles, not triples, and so on. You just don't have enough speed. So take a step back, go down by like maybe even 190 BPM, and try streaming from there. And after like maybe a week, if that's too fast for you, take another step down, go 185, and so on. Like, don't waste your time trying to jump from like 200 to like 200 fucking 40 or something. Like, don't do what I did, basically. So yeah, aimbot cone, thanks for subbing. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this as a VOD. I'm probably gonna use this as like a video too, you know, the series. So yeah, also I love to try to help people improve as well, because like I said, personally, like the thing is, if you want to improve, honestly, you got to be one of two things. One, really self-aware, and which in that case you'd probably be an adult already, and you probably be like fucking 20 already, and you already have a life, so then you don't really have time for games, or you just don't feel like it. Or you have to be very lucky and be like 12 years old and basically start from there, because you coincidentally like are improving the way you're supposed to, you know. Like some people are like 15 years old and they just like, and I mean, not saying like age really matters in this situation, and I know that can be taken out of context, but in this situation, for like fucking play Nosu, some people just play for passes and they just get hard stuck at like fucking 3 stars. But those lucky enough to coincidentally improve, you know, that's how they become top players. And also, if you're pretty young, like I said, you don't really have self-awareness, which is totally reasonable because I fucking didn't either. But yeah, I want to help everyone, like everyone who wants to get good, to just become self-aware about and more knowledgeable about how to improve so then they can improve. Because like I said, some people just don't know how to improve, and the lucky ones that do end up improving are the ones that are going to become top players because they're just lucky enough to know how to, or they don't know how to, but they are. And yeah, younger improve faster. That's true. That's true. I made this thing, but it's also like the genetic factor. Like, no, not genetic. It's like back to that genetic graph where it's like some people improve faster. Like some people improve faster than others. It's kind of like the same thing as age. Younger people often improve faster, but that doesn't like say this is for like a fucking 14-year-old. But you can't do the same. It's not like you can't do the same thing when you're older. Like this is probably the graph of a. Oh, that's pretty wrong. This is probably the graph of a 20-year-old. Oh, let's make this more accurate. There we go. This is probably more accurate for a 20-year-old. Like maybe you'll say this is a 7-star FC. Maybe a 14-year-old can do it in like 3 years in with playing 1 hour every day. And it might take you, if you're 20, it might take you like 5 years to do that, Doesn't, just because you're older doesn't mean you can't do it, basically. And this is totally wrong too. This is hypothetical. 14 and 20 is like, I'd personally say it's like you add 6 months if you're 20 years old, basically. And if you do the same exact thing as a 14-year-old, you would reach the same skill level in like 3.5 years instead of 5, because that seems fucked. So yeah. And obviously 50-year-old, you can't really learn if you're 50 years old, but yeah. At a certain point, age does matter in terms of how fast you can improve as well, but like I said, it's not huge, but it is there. Like obviously if you're fucking 12 and start playing, you could probably reach this level in 2.5 years or even 2 years for it is 7-star FC. But yeah, this is purely hypothetical. Numbers are not accurate, but in terms of how accurate this explanation is, I personally think it's pretty accurate. Also long stream. Personally, I'd say, okay, this is just personally, not purely optimal. Okay, let's draw this graph again. Say this is like 1,000 notes, this is 500 notes, and this is like 0. So it's probably more optimal to just jump up the BPM at 1,000 notes of streaming, or maybe even 500, because honestly, in a ranked map, especially these days, you won't see a stream longer than 500 notes. So it's probably more optimal to jump from anywhere like in this little zone, I guess, to try to improve your streaming. If you could hit like anywhere between 500 and 1,000 notes for at least 99%, then yeah, that's a pretty good time to jump up by 5 or 10 BPM. 5 or 10. We Love Llama is not ranked. DT is, the thing is, I can't explain mods because DT is a sum of like all skills. It's not like a specific skill. I guess saying like how do I improve at DT is like the same thing as saying how do I improve at consistency. You can't explicitly improve at DT or consistency, but like to play DT, to become consistent, to play hard rock, you just have to basically be good enough to play them, I guess. And I know that sounds stupid, but if you looked at like every single thing I just drew, then it'll make sense to you. And yeah, you could improve at approach rates. That's true. It's okay to play other BPMs, but if you were to, I wouldn't go outside the range of 180, like 10 BPM higher, because first off, that'll be too hard. Like, you know, that's going from like, okay, in comparison, because you know aim is very common. Let's draw a new graph. Aim is very common for a lot of people, so they can relate. So this is like 6 stars, 5.8, 5.5. So the jump from like, say if you're trying to FC of 5.8 stars, which is in this case 170 BPM. Okay, let's refer to this, or let's pretend a 5.8 star FC is equivalent to like streaming 170. If you try to learn this, your graph will look like this kind of. You'll eventually get there, or no, it'll look more like this. Like you'll get there, but the thing is, if you want to FC a 6 star, and in this case 180 BPM, well the thing is like if you play a 6 star, you're not really gonna improve at 5.8 because you know it's too hard for you. Okay, I probably just didn't need to draw that graph to explain that. Basically, if you're trying to improve, don't go, say your range is comfortable range is 160, don't go more than 20 BPM away, otherwise, or no, 20 BPM higher. Go 10 at most if you want to improve, and then anywhere between 5 and 10 to improve. So it's okay to play other BPMs like I said, but if you don't spend time in 170, then you won't get good at 170, you know. What Vaxay said he did. Well, the thing is, Vaxay... Okay, this is what Vaxay did. Because I did that too, to be honest. And it worked, but barely. Like, that's why you could see Vaxay fucking burst, like, what, 260, 270 like crazy. But the thing is, like, his actual skill in terms of streaming is locked at 220. Like, he can't stream 240. I mean, he can, but, like, definitely not as well as 220, and he could burst 260 insanely well, but the thing is like if he tries to go higher, then yeah, bursting and streaming are two different things. That's why you saw in his Euphorium play, I think there was like that was it like 30 note long 285 BPM stream. He only actually streamed like, I believe it was like 10 notes, and he started double tapping the rest of it. That's kind of like the thing, just because you play higher BPM doesn't mean that it'll make you improve faster. You kind of develop like two different skills. Like that's kind of what I have. I have a discrepancy between streaming ability and like playing burst. Like I could burst 250 so easily, but the thing is my streaming ability is hard capped at 240 right now. And even on good days I could burst 260. So yeah. You kind of like, if you end up playing higher BPM, you kind of also end up playing less notes of a stream. So then therefore you would also not develop death streaming as much if you went up to higher BPMs. Like this would not happen. You like say, yeah, you will say this is like 200 BPM, this is 190. If you go from 180 to 200, this is not gonna happen. You're not gonna fucking death stream this. You're gonna more learn how to burst, and then you'll burst in shorter intervals and so on. Like that's really it is. That's what it is. Like just because you could skip BPM doesn't mean you develop the same skill set. Streaming is absolutely being able to single tap, do doubles, do triples, all that, everything all together. And all these skills combined kind of like are summed up into death streaming. So yeah. No, okay. This is what I said before. There is no, you can't improve consistency like how you can improve DT or hard rock or, you know, like easy. It's too vague. Consistency is too vague. Consistency for what? Like DT can range from like 200 BPM to like fucking 400 BPM. Hard rock can range from like circle size 3 to 9.1. Easy can range from like 2-star AR3 to like AR5 and like 200 stars, theoretically. Like, it's too vague. You can't say that easy will improve anything besides easy as well. No, you shouldn't. Why would you tweak your sensitivity? If you tweak your sensitivity, you won't be comfortable anymore, and therefore you might not be able to hit anything else, you know? Like, okay, so say this is your play field. If you're going from this jump to this jump to this jump, 1, 2, 3, like, you could hit this pretty comfortably, but then you always fall short of this. Like, you always fall short of that. Just fucking know that and try to aim a little bit further instead of, like, tweaking your sensitivity. Because sensitivity will make this entire, like, you'll probably end up overshooting this, but hitting 3 if you improve your sensitivity or increase your sensitivity. It's just stupid. It doesn't make sense, like, to me. And no, that is not a forehead moment, because the thing is, like I said, if you're self-aware, you can improve. Like, if you FC an entire map and this is the only the only spot you missed, you can just be like, okay, well, this pattern specifically, I'll just aim a little bit further, and therefore you hit it next try. So there is no point in increasing sensitivity. But if you're comfortable, but you're hitting like fucking 50 misses, that's not being comfortable. Like, you could be comfortable, but you're fucking not hitting anything. So sensitivity won't even help you there. Sensitivity won't even help you at all. Fingers get stiff, take a break. That just means that you overworked your fingers. But also, you could counteract that next session by trying to stream trying to tap a little bit more lightly. Also, that develops some pretty good technique in terms of speed. So yeah, if your fingers get stiff, just stop playing. You overworked your fingers. You gotta take a break. You know, you gotta take a day break. And while you can last longer every other time, like the graph before, like say this is your stamina upwards trend, you could, yeah. Wait, what was I gonna say again? Fuck, I don't know. Thoughts on RSI? Yeah, RSI is fucking dumb. You have to be stupid to get RSI. This is what happens when you play. This is what happens. No, this is how you get RSI. This is your fucking limit, alright? This is your limit for now. Obviously, at a certain point, when you're good enough, you could get past this limit. But the thing is, with people with RSI, they always try to play shit right here. Like, they always try to play shit right over fucking, like, above this line. And then they end up hurting themselves. Like, the easiest analogy to make is trying to work out, like, do a run. Like, okay, say this is, like, a mile or kilometer, I don't know, where if you're a European or American, doesn't matter. Let's say fucking, like, 1.6 kilometers, because I think everyone's European here, and this is equivalent to 1 mile. So if you try, okay, this is not a good graph actually. So 1.6 km. So if you try to get, like, if your goal is a 12-minute time, run time, like, you have to pace yourself basically. You have to pace yourself throughout that run, and eventually you get faster and faster and faster. But the thing is, people who injure themselves are those people who try to get this time by fucking, like, straight up sprinting in the beginning. And they sprint, and then, like, when they're only like 1/3 of the way there, they start feeling really tired, but then they keep pushing, so then they end up injuring themselves over here. Yeah, you'll fucking die if you do that. Well, and this is less serious, but you'll injure yourself and you'll never play OSR again. That's the thing. Like, people try to take shortcuts when they develop RSI, and that's why you don't fucking take shortcuts. You'll end up hurting yourself. And also, if you feel pain, that is your body telling you to stop, and you're fucking hurting yourself. And you have to be stupid to ignore that warning. You have to be stupid to think, oh, dude, my pain is gains, dude. Pain is gains, so therefore I'm gonna keep fucking going, and then until, like, I can't move my finger anymore. So yeah, pain is not gain. Strain is gain. Most of the times. And yeah, you shouldn't hurt yourself doing anything really. If you feel tired, if you feel strained, that is actually really good, because that helps you develop muscles, and not in terms of, like, stamina, to be honest. But the thing is, like, at a certain point, so this is just a line graph, and it's based on time. This is 0 times 0, 10 hours. So if maybe after like 2 hours in, you feel a little bit of strain, that's good, because like you'll eventually reach 2.5 hours without feeling strain, and 3 hours, and so on. But those who keep pushing and pushing, at this point, like 6 hours in, or no, not even that, like if they keep pushing to 3 hours, they'll start feeling pain right here. And then if they keep pushing, they'll get an injury, basically. Injury. And so the point of like taking it step by step is that eventually you'll play 2.1 hours, and then you'll start feeling strain at 3.2 or 3.1, and you know, yeah, that's, you just want to take it step by step. Don't fucking go take shortcuts, because you're gonna trip and fall. You're gonna die. Well, the thing is, if you fucking have pain, I'm pretty sure every doctor would tell you to stop fucking playing. So then just don't play, like actually. And I know that's saddening, but that's honestly like your own fault for hurting yourself. But I think you could also just take a break. Like, even you don't have to stop playing completely. Like, you could just stop playing for like 2 months. Like, you could take a 2-month hiatus. Like, I'm not a fucking doctor, so I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you what's good for you. But hypothetically, you could probably take 2 months off, like just not doing any, like not playing OSU at all. And you know, maybe it'll stop hurting, but you got to do like stretches and everything to make sure that you don't hurt yourself again. RSI is kind of really vague. It's just called repetitive strain injury, which is, you know, you strain yourself too hard to the point of pain many times until your hand just is always at the level of pain. Yeah, I don't know if it'll help you. Like I said, I'm not a fucking doctor, but if you do end up coming back, even if your hand doesn't hurt, you might have to do stretches. You might have to take it slow, you know, until you could, like, yeah. Because when you reach the point of injury, like say this is your current limit, 200 BPM. If you reach your limit, no, if you try to exceed that limit and end up injuring yourself, you kind of just go backwards. And this will probably be your limit after the injury. And you kind of have to like rebuild that up step by step after you recover and so on. But like I said, I'm not a fucking doctor, so I can't tell you what to do. Pausing is cheating? No, pausing is pausing. Like, why would it be cheating? Six to 8 hours? Well, I mean, if you like, okay, this is kind of like the thing. 200 BPM, another graph. So, let's say this is like strain you feel. Wait. How do I set up this graph? Maybe time again. And relax. Yeah, relax and strain. Oh wait, no. Now I can just do this. Strain. So at a certain point, like after many days of playing, like of 200 BPM, the feeling of strain will kind of just go lower. Like you know, that's normal. Yeah, it is normal because you're developing muscle. Even though when you're tapping, you shouldn't, like, it's not really related to muscle, or at least speed. When you're tapping, it is related to muscle. When you're in speed, it's not related to muscle. So yeah. 6 to 8 hours, if you can handle the grind without hurting yourself, that is totally fine. Obviously, when you jump up to 210 BPM, you're going to reset all the way back at the start of the graph, and so on, and so on. So yeah, it's pretty normal what you're doing. Wait. My hands used to hurt? Okay, no, hold on. Fucking hold the fuck on. I thought you were talking about strain. No, if your fucking hands hurt, then you gotta stop playing right now. Holy shit. For a week? Your hands hurt for a fucking week? Oh my god. It's not even supposed to hurt. It's supposed to feel tired. It's supposed to feel like it's stiff. That's healthy. but hurting yourself is not fucking healthy. What the hell? Yeah, fatigue is healthy, not pain. You like the pain? You're fucking crazy. I know, low AR is not necessary. Because if you look at the meta, if... Control Z, hello, okay. If you look at... The reason why it's not necessary is because of the meta. In fact, high AR is necessary. If you look at every fucking top play, DT, everything you'll be reading, the AR will range from like 10.3 to 11 basically. And outside of this, since DT is like the meta right now, and it always has been, to be honest, you don't have, like, you're not really developing a skill inside the meta, which is reading between 10.3 and 11. You're developing like AR, developing low AR reading, and like I said, it's not important because obviously low AR doesn't even give you PP as well. So yeah. Well, if you're talking about tournaments, then you gotta improve everything. In terms of PP, it's so one-dimensional. All you gotta do is just play DT. DT aim. Hard Rock goes to AR 10. Hard Rock is like literally only AR 10. Hard Rock 10. Like maybe you'll get like 9.8, but it's 10 all the fucking time basically. Most commonly in DT you'll see 10.5, maybe 10.7, 10.3 sometimes, but yeah. Relax. I don't know why you're straining when playing high AR. Stream topic? Dude, just fucking drawing graphs to show improvement. Yeah, dude, improvement is just stocks, dude. Stonks. Just goes upwards as long as you keep trying. No, playing DT only doesn't make you suck. It just means that you were never good to begin with. Like, so this is like individual skills. Like, I'll just color code them. This is DT. Purple is DT. Like, your DT skill will get better, but then as soon as you play Hard Rock, like, say you play DT up to here at this point. If you start at Hard Rock, you're never good to begin with. Like, maybe you develop this skill of like reading high AR already, so you maybe start from over here. So yeah, you weren't good to begin with. And the thing is also with reading hidden as well, or like low AR hidden, is that since DT is totally different from reading low AR, you're basically starting from rock bottom. So yeah, you can't really say that playing X makes you worse at something else. I mean, it could make you better slightly, but that depends, like if it shares the same skill. Like Hard Rock and DT are pretty similar because, well, one, DT is just faster, but both require aim. Hard Rock just requires more precision. So the common similarity here is aim. So then that's why if you get good at DT, you could also get good at Hard Rock at the same time. Kind of. Not really, but kind of. Yeah, dude, I explained this before. Every fucking time you practice stamina, you'll just have resets like this. Like it'll look like this, basically. Well, not exactly like this, but it'll be more like this. And a really sharp turn down, and then back to this, and then back to this, and so on. Like kind of like teeth, like waves. But so like say for you, your limit was 170. No, wait, what was it? Okay, well, let's pretend you didn't tell me what your maximum was. Let's say 180. Let's say you can stream 180 and your lowest is 160. Like, every time you feel this reset, you'll get better, basically. Where, like, maybe you'll stream 185 next time, but and your lowest BPM will be 165 and 190 and 170. You know, just basically the takeaway from this is that yes, it's normal to feel these really stupid fucking resets every month or so for tapping. Just know that if you just keep playing, you'll get it back easy. And your worst day will always be better than your worst day previously, basically. Fuck, can I reach it? What do you mean? Yeah, that's exactly why I can barely stream 220 as well. That's exactly why I started this topic, because I was like, yeah, let me just show you why improvement sucks and why mental is so important for improvement. Well, mental doesn't affect improvement directly, but you can't improve if all you do is just give up, you know? That's what I mean. That's what I mean by mental. It's not like mental can affect your physical capabilities. Like, it's not like if you become like the most happiest person in the world, you can't really, that doesn't mean you'll gain like fucking muscles or anything. That's not, but your mental just determines your apps, like your cap, like where you will stop. And minus A Rumi, thanks for cheering. And yeah, it's true you don't have enough stamina if you finger lock on any BPM. Also, another thing is with streaming long streams, with fucking, if you finger lock, you just are too slow, basically. So, yeah, you're not. I know any BPM is an exaggeration, but if you finger lock even on fucking triples, just take a step back, go down by like 10 BPM until you can do it. I mean, determination is mental, but I meant like mental is like, it doesn't affect how good you are, but instead how good you can get, you know? Because if you give up, like I said, that's your limit. But if you never give up, then your physical capability is your limit. Finger locking is just your fingers just don't move. Like if you play stream, like say this is a stream, and then somewhere in the stream, your index finger will just not tap right here, and eventually it'll not tap right here, and so on in faster and faster intervals. That's, yeah, you could kind of see like, oops, this is kind of like a pretty good representation of finger locking. Like if you finger lock right here, you are just too slow. But, you know, and it just gets worse and worse as the stream goes on. So, yeah. Please play. Go watch someone else if you want to see someone play. Good, improve. Oh, that's actually not been asked yet. I've just mostly been talking about like improvement, like visualizing improvement. But a good way to improve streaming stamina. Oh no, I did talk about this actually. It's like this goes for everything. It's just like at a certain point you want to be optimal with your improvement. So this can be like FC or like 99% or like SS or something. Like you get even like 1000 notes of streaming versus 500, like whatever. At a certain point your graph will look like this of improvement. And at a certain point, you kind of have to make the decision to jump, to push your limits. Because so this is like, I'll make this more relatable. So at a certain point, like say, yeah, I'll just make this like 1000 notes of streaming versus 500 versus 250 versus 120 versus 60 versus 10. So at a certain point, you're gonna get like stuck right here or something at like 200 BPM. 200 BPM. You kind of have to figure out at what point do you want to try to push your limits? Cause let me make this. Yeah, maybe like right here. Cause at a certain point, it takes more time to improve. Just only very slightly compared to, you know, the time before. So yeah, you kind of just want to try to kind of have to figure like yeah, you kind of have to figure out at which point do you want to push your limits. So yeah, okay, maybe that was not the question. I maybe misread. Okay, no, I think that's correct. Okay, okay. Start from rock bottom. Nope, because it's like that. It's like kind of like the similar to what I was showing before with this similar skill sets between DT and hard rock. You know, like if you get good at DT, you obviously DT and hard rock are different, but they share a common similarity, which is aim. So if you just start randomly playing hard rock, like you'll start from right here. That's also the same thing with tapping with another finger, is that you already know how to tap. So if you just change fingers, you just have to like, you know, the shared skill, the common skill is just tapping still. You just have to develop that extra a different finger. That's it. Pure alt, I don't know. Burst maps. Well, burst maps are different. Like, okay, but bursting is good. Like, if you don't feel tired from bursts, then you are ready to tackle on streaming. But streaming is different because you have to tap lightly. But it's like single tapping, hitting doubles, triples. All these are prerequisites of actually streaming. If you can't do these, then you can't stream, basically. Yeah, arm positioning can have a big effect. That is true. Like, if this is your desk, this is your keyboard. My keyboard! If your, like, wrist is like this... I don't know how to fucking draw fingers. Hold on. How do I... Oh, yeah. Like this. Kind of like... I don't fucking know. If it's, like, anchored to this desk... Wait, no. Okay, more like this. Hold on. If it's like this... If it's anchored to your desk like this, let me draw a thumb right here, and then these are your fingers. I don't know how to fucking draw. Yeah. This kind of sucks, because your muscles, right? Okay, like I said, I'm not a doctor, I don't fucking know anatomy. I would assume that your muscles are kind of like being kind of like just stuck right here, I guess, in a sense. That control your fingers, you know? So it's probably better to raise your arm a little bit. That also explains why, like, the Murami method exists. It's because you just raise your fucking arm, so then you don't anchor your wrist to the desk, and so therefore you don't... I don't know. Yeah, basically every speed player does that. Every speed player kind of like has their arm floating above their desk. They don't like put it on the desk like I do. Like I see every fucking speed player, and they have their hands like up. Basically, they have their arms up, they have their hands like wrists off the desk. So then I guess they could, you know, for that reason. No, the thing is, you assume that gravity is like... It's like you assume that gravity just is like free, basically. For if you like, you have to always constantly push against gravity if you are tapping, if that were the case, and that is the case. Gravity is not the reason why, because, well, if that were the case, then I guess like the fucking speed players live in zero gravity or some shit, or every other person besides speed players living like in zero gravity. And yeah. It's kind of stupid to say. You kind of like, but yeah. Like I said, improvement is just either two things. One, being lucky. Or two, being self-aware. And so obviously only those lucky enough, like only those that improve. Most top players that are young are often lucky, but like I said, my goal is to try to make everyone self-aware to help them improve as well, as they aren't lucky enough to coincidentally improve, I guess. So yeah, like being self-aware, well, if like you kind of have to think for yourself. If gravity were the case of why like people are faster, then why isn't everyone fast, you know? It's not gravity. You kind of have to rule that out. No, the thing is, top players are lucky. Not lucky in terms of like genetics or anything. Like lucky in terms of being able to like improve. They don't know how they improve, but they do because they follow the trend of just like challenging themselves, FCing, like perfecting something and then pushing their limits at perfecting something. Some people aren't aware of that, and so that's why they never improve. They never perfect anything. They don't like understand anything. They don't push their limits. So yeah, and some other people push their limits, but they don't perfect it. So that's also why they don't improve. That's why I kind of call this being lucky, because like, you know, if you're self-aware, you know how to improve. But if you're lucky, you're not really aware of how you improve, but you just do anyways, because you follow the trend of perfecting something and, you know, pushing your limits. Like me personally, improving was also luck, a lot of luck. I'm sure a lot of top players' improvement was luck too, because like, you know, if you ask, like, I guess proof of this is if you ask them how they improve and they don't know how to explain it. Like, I can explain it now because I'm pretty self-aware now. But back then I was like, damn, I'm just improving because I'm improving. Like, it's not hard, dude. Hybrid bro. It's like, it's not fucking hard. Just forehead, just improve, dude. So yeah. And yeah, it's okay to FC 5 stars and not pass. Like, passing is totally different. Passing is just fucking mashing. The more you mash, like the more chances you're like, passing is just luck basically. And if you're better at the game, the higher chance you have. But also, if you just, the more you mash, the higher chance, like the more you just not be perfect, I guess, the more you just mash and build bad habits, I guess that's like, you also have a higher chance of passing stuff. Yeah, because yeah, if you don't know how to explain this, then it's basically just being lucky. And I'm not saying lucky as in like they didn't put in hard work. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like they're lucky because they coincidentally improve without knowing how to. And yeah, a lot of top players, when you ask them how to improve, they're just like, dude, play more, because one, they want you to fuck off, or two, they don't know how to explain it. And I'm trying my best to explain improvement, but yeah, hopefully I'm doing a good job. Hopefully I'm trying to bring awareness to everyone who doesn't know how to improve. No, that's not what I'm saying. You are not self-aware. When I say that people are lucky because they improve, that's not the same thing as being hard stuck because you're lucky. That's just being normal. Normal that you're hard stuck and don't know how to improve. I already talked about aim. I already talked about WhiteCat too, and like how he's able to improve stream aim really quickly. It's not that hard. You just, you know, hand cam next to my keyboard. I can't. It doesn't reach. Like, this is how far I could reach, basically. So that's why I have to have my hand cam right over here. Yeah, thanks for subbing. And yeah, I would try to make this a series, and yeah, I try to be relatable to people, because obviously I don't, that's a personally, that's kind of like my thing with trying to improve myself as a person. Is like, I always have had this like fucking nasty thought where it's like, oh no, I'm not like with other people, I'm not relatable, I'm not normal or something. So yeah, so I try to be relatable. I don't care about flow aim. It's fun, but I only care about speed right now because that's just like what I want to improve. That's all I care about. Yeah, I will make a video. Maybe. They're loading in the stream is pretty difficult. Like instead of mashing. Oh, dude, when you're tapping, just just tap, just don't mash, dude. Forehead. Okay, well, no. For actual advice, I can't really tell you like step by step, like detail, because it's really not that in depth. But if you're trying to improve, use accuracy as a guideline instead of like like when I said before, at a certain point you'll only improve this much if you're just not good. So like say this red is if you're not good. So and this is like say if this is in your comfortable or no this black line or trend or arrow or fucking I don't know is I don't know what I'm gonna say. Okay, you know what? Just disregard what I've said. Just disregard whatever I said. But basically, just use accuracy as a guideline to improve tapping instead of mashing, basically, because mashing is like you could get any accuracy you want. So yeah. Yeah, accuracy is the best guideline for tapping because tapping determines accuracy as well. If you're talking about play count doesn't matter. Some people can spend like less than fucking 10 seconds. 10 seconds per play count PC. And some other people, especially like fucking me, like can spend more than like 10 minutes per play count. That's why I have pretty low play count because I spend such a long time per play. So yeah, don't think about play count. Only think about how much time you put in the game. And how much time you put into improving, actually. Because, like I said, I've seen these fucking people on Reddit. They're just like, oh, I played for 10 years, but I'm still stuck at 6 stars. It's like, yeah, of course. If you play like 30 minutes of fucking nothing every fucking day, of course you won't improve, you know? You gotta be efficient with your time. Like, you gotta spend these 30 minutes in improving. So yeah, if you play like 2 hours of improving and like, I don't know, like 2 hours of passing, only those 2 hours will make you actually good. Those 2 hours of just passing other maps will just be for fun, basically. Damn, I forgot Twitch chat is fucking stupid. Every time you mention the color black, everyone's like, racism, dude? You said the color black? Fucking not funny. Ether, thanks for subbing. Dude, thanks for some math help. Wink? Like, you can see me winking, right? A lot. But yeah, that's just, I guess that's it. I guess I have to make this into a series now. I also have to like draw some pretty good graphs and like, I don't know, some fucking program to just. But also I don't want to draw graphs. I want to try to make it as relatable as possible. Like I could go in depth with graphs, but I'm trying to like figure out a way to make it more relatable for people instead of just like staring at a bunch of graphs. And no, UR is not important. It's kind of just like UR is it's not important. By passing, mashing is passing. Yeah, I want to make like pretty looking graphs, pretty looking everything, like visuals and everything, but yeah. No, that is not what I'm saying, Rayark. Dude, this is what I'm saying. Don't try to, if you want to be self-aware, don't try to like correlate A and B together, basically. Don't think, oh, A equals B, but that's not true. A, like, yeah, so when I say that time matters, don't think that, oh, time, like, say A is time, say A is time, and B is length. Don't think that, oh, time is like, if you spend time improving, that means the longer the beat maps, the better you'll be, right? No, that's not fucking true. If a map is 5 minutes and you spend 5 minutes, or no, if a map is okay, no, here. So let's do some basic math. If one map A is 1 minute, map B is 10 minutes. If you play map A 60 times and map B 6 times, you'll pretty much improve at the same rate, because you spent, like, it depends if these both, assuming these are exactly the same skill level, you'll improve at the same exact rate. It's just you'll have less play count than the other. Types of maps, anything that you can FC. And once you FC it, try playing something slightly harder and try to FC that. And if you can FC that, then repeat that process. That's how you improve, basically. Like, that's in terms of aiming, though. In terms of speed, you want to use your, instead of having FCs be your guideline, let accuracy be your guideline. Nope. If you think 10 minutes increases your consistency, you're fucking dumb. I'm sorry, I had to say it. Like, I made this point before. If you, like, you can't say I'm improving consistency, because that's the same thing as saying improving, like, I don't know. Yeah, improving consistency, because what is consistency? That's like saying, oh, I'm improving at DT. Well, what is DT? Fucking, is it 200 BPM jumps? Is it 400 BPM jumps? Is it speed? Is it, like, if you improve at DT, that just means you're fucking getting good. Same as if you're improving consistency, you're just getting good. Like, I've made this point. Here, let me make this. I have not went over this on stream yet, but basically, consistency is like, say if you, okay, I'll just make a graph of consistency. So this is 6 stars, and this is 5 stars. 5 stars. Wait, 5 stars, and this red line will be consistency, or your skill level. So basically, if your skill level is right over here, like say right over here, you have the potential to FC 6 stars, right? But then, like, obviously this wait, let me just make, hold on. Let's say this will be your, like, this range. This will be the range of how good you are, basically. So you have the potential to FC 6 stars, but then if you're good enough at the lowest point, you'll always FC a 5 star. Always. I guess you could call that consistency, because you're just good enough to FC 5 stars at a time. So yeah, it's kind of like that. Like, you have a range of how good you are, and consistency is just basically being good enough to the point where if you want to FC something, it's basically at the lowest range of your skill level. Like, it's to the point where it's really easy. So yeah. Sticking to, I'm not fucking great too. Like I said, every month when I have these stupid skill resets, like I said, I am, like, right now I am fucking demotivated, but I still push myself. Like, I am honestly so sad right now that I cannot stream 240 anymore, and I'm stuck at like 215 now. But I just always think to myself, oh yeah, well, I'm better than last month. But yeah, it's fucking hard. You just have to just keep pushing yourself. Nerve solution? Oh yeah, dude. This is another topic I was going to talk about. Okay, another topic for a video, but I've talked about this on Spaza's Twitch podcast. You can't remove nerves, but you have to find ways to deal with them. If you're self-aware of nerves, like if you notice you're shaking more, if you notice you're mashing more, just try to condition yourself to like stop mashing basically. Like if you're self-aware of mashing, just understand. Sorry. Next time when you're nervous, just try to relax a little bit. Just try to focus on your tapping a little bit more. And same with like shaking. If you're really shaky, you know, this is you see me do this every time. I try to condition myself not to shake. So that's why you don't really see me shake anymore. At the end of maps, when I get nervous, I start shaking a little bit, or I used to. But then when I choke, I would just immediately retry and play with those shakes. I would play with those shakes until I got used to them, basically. Until now, I just don't shake. That's kind of how you deal with shaking, but you can't remove nerves, you know? You can't remove nerves in general. Nerves are just like, they're always there. And yeah, if you notice you breathe really fast, just take deep breaths. Like, you just have to be self-aware and try to condition yourself to just not do those things, I guess. So yeah. Yeah. Also, if you shake, honestly, just relax your hand too. And I know that's like, oh, forehead, just stop doing it. But yeah, that's really the only way. You can't just like stop doing it, you know? You have to take months and months or weeks and months and to the point where you just don't do that anymore. You just don't shake, you don't have those, you don't show those like side effects of being nervous, I guess. Both are equally important. Actually, depends what you're going for, but both are equally important. If you're going for FCs or if you're going for aim, go for combo. If you're going for tapping, go for accuracy. And obviously, in Osu, you want to be good at both aim and tapping. So therefore, both combo and accuracy are important. So you should focus on both. Yeah, when you're okay, the thing is with finger control, it's called finger control, not smash your keyboard. Finger control is doing the same repetitive motion on your keyboard over and over, and that is streaming. That is death streaming as well. If you tap, like you could force yourself to be a little bit faster if you strain, but you'll slow down. Like even I'm slowing down. So basically, if you wanna just have develop finger control, tap lightly. Learn to tap lightly. Personally, I don't pause. I only pause when I'm like banning people from my chat. But I just try to continue because I don't want to like be interrupted. Like I kind of want to learn how to play the map without relying on pauses, basically. How do you? Why is your arms hurting in the fucking first place? Stop playing if your arms hurt. No, I don't worry about that because, like I said, your aim does not deteriorate. Your speed does, though, which is why I'm managing my speed. This is what I said before. If you stop playing aim, okay, so like this is your graph, the graph of improvement. If you stop playing aim, you'll just end up right here. Like, and if I extend this graph or extend the graph, it would just look like this. It would just be a straight line. You don't lose aim because it's part of your muscles. Unless you become like fucking skeleton, like you lose all your muscles, then yeah, you can't play anymore. But aim and being comfortable is different. Like this red line will be how comfortable you are. While you will shake more, while it feels a little bit more awkward reaching the corners, you could still hit the corners basically of maps, or you could still hit 7-star jumps. It just feels a little bit more weird. So yeah, you won't lose aim, but you will lose tapping because, like I said, tapping is not based on muscle. I mean, like it is, but your speed isn't. Your stamina will be there, but your speed won't be. You'll lose speed. No, you don't. You do keep finger control, but you lose speed. So like, if you learn how to play doubles, you'll always learn how to play doubles forever. But you might not be able to play them at higher BPMs anymore, cause, yeah. And yeah, pen grip slipping is a huge thing. That's what I've said. Like people are just like, dude, tab is better because you don't have mouse drift. Well, yeah. What about fucking tablet? You have your pen slipping out your hand and you can't do anything about it. Meanwhile, like mouse, you could just like readjust with your fucking mouse drift. It's both have downsides, both have upsides and both have downsides. And no, I don't despise people with who have super low ac. That's their playstyle. I'm not gonna fucking shit on them for playing however they want to. Speed up and lock up. Well, if you're tapping hard, then that is normal and that is bad. So you have to learn how to tap lightly. I've learned how to play with shitty grip. If you see my Uta play, oh no, it's like songs comp. Wait, no, it's one of them. One of these plays. Like I start from like my pen's over here. Oh, I have to turn this around. So so right over here, my pen will look like this. I'm holding in the middle, but near the end, like it's like down here. But the thing is, I've learned how to play like this because I always play like this. So then, whether my pen slips through my hand, this doesn't really matter to me anymore. I mean, it does matter if I'm trying to hit like bottom right corners or top left, but in terms of like hitting everything else, it doesn't matter. For me, at least. That's also the same thing with like trying to deal with nerves. It's pretty similar. It's like you just have to condition yourself. You just have to learn how to deal with it. You just have to basically play with it until it becomes easy, I guess. Like it becomes comfortable. Yeah, mouse slips too. Well, at least if your fucking hand slips, you won't miss. If your hand slips with mouse, you just fucking re-aim. Like, cause like the thing with mouse is that the pro about not having absolute area is that you could be right here, you could be on the very left of your mouse pad, be on the very right, and you'll still have the same aim. Mouse drift doesn't affect aim. It just matters like it just affects like where your mouse will be at the end. I think Fun Orange had like a pretty decent. It was like a pretty decent visual explanation of it. It's like something about how your mouse turning and not going back to the same position. So yeah. Area doesn't matter. Yeah, dude. Ben, I know you say that as a joke, but that is fucking true. I mean, to an extent. If you move your tablet, everything is so uncomfortable because you don't know how to aim. Like you don't have the perfect position anymore. You don't have the absolute position. Tapping and it's like I could draw this graph. It's like this is your aim, and this is your aim even after you move your. Okay, this will be your aim, and this is like when you move your tablet. If you're comfortable right here, like this red line. If you move your fucking hell. If you move your tablet, it'll just look like this. You'll just reset your how comfortable you are, but your aim will be pretty similar. With mouse, it's kind of just like the same way all the way through. Obviously, you have to deal with shit like fucking shitty mouse pad and stuff like that, but at least you don't have to deal with absolute area. And yeah, I can move my tablet a little bit now because like of lands. I can move it like maybe even an inch and I'll be fine. But back then, during my first land, if I couldn't even play because I just moved it like by 1 millimeter. So yeah, I've learned because of lands. I've learned to like play at different chair heights, play at different desk heights, play with like moving my tablet just a little bit, and I'm fine. That happens too. It's like sometimes you don't feel comfortable at all, but that's okay. I don't know, tablet drivers, people, because okay, the thing with tablet drivers is that people think that it means that they'll become good. Well, that's not really the case. It is like more optimal, but that doesn't mean that you'll get good without it. Like I think with tablets drivers is that they remove smoothing. So smoothing is basically like your tablet taking shortcuts, I guess. So like if you draw like really fast on a normal tablet, like say if you have no smoothing or you have really high polling rate, this will be what it looks like when you draw on the tablet. But with smoothing, it kind of looks like this. It kind of looks like it's cutting corners basically. And this is like really bad case scenario as well. Like this is the worst case scenario. This is like perfect tablet to like a really shit tablet with like more than like 20 milliseconds of delay. The thing is, if you're playing on a normal tablet with like some delay, like I am, you'll see like this is the difference at most. Or no, not even that. It's like, it's more like this. This is the difference at most. Fucking just like barely, just a few pixels of, yeah, just cutting corners. No, changing area and sensitivity does not fucking help. Especially when you do it often. The only reason why it helps with Cookie is because he literally did that for 5 years, so he got used to every area possible. So, yeah, you can't compare yourself to fucking Cookie like that. You're just basically relearning how to get comfortable with everything. You're not gonna get better at the game. You're just gonna learn how to be comfortable at any area. So yeah, this is basically like, this is like worst case scenario versus like perfect tablet with perfect drivers or something. For FPS, not really. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. Your aim will be more uncomfortable. Like you know how to aim, but then you'll always like, you just have to learn how to fucking do the same thing but on a different sensitivity. It's stupid to change your sensitivity and your area. It's just actually so stupid. Fucking unbelievably stupid. Pick and ban strategies, yes, they're very relevant. Want to know why everyone lost against me in every tournament ever? They're just like, because I don't have much hidden plays, they're all just like, they all bank on the fact that I can't play hidden, and then they just lose the pick. So they bank on the fact, they try to like think of what can the other person not do, rather than what can I do better, basically. And that's the reason, if you have this mindset, you're gonna fucking lose. You're gonna get upset. You're gonna get upset really bad. And you should always basically look at this second option. Scout main syndrome changes sensitivity, everything. What is this fucking people like TF2 players and changing sensitivity? Like, oh dude, I have like 2 sensitivity for my rocket launcher and 0.5 for my shotgun. And like 0.8 for my escape plan. It's like, what the fuck? Just play it on the same thing, dude. If I'm playing sniper, I will have 3 sensitivity. If I'm playing scout, I will have 2 one day and like 2.5 the next day. Just to keep my aim crisp and clean. If you pick stream versus Badoo, if you have the mindset of what can you do better, then yeah, you'll win. But if you think that, oh, Badoo can't stream, even though that's not true, he can, just a little bit. You're just gonna get upset really bad. That's why Fiery lost the fucking tiebreaker on the 220 BPM map against Badoo, even though he double tapped. Cause like, you have to think, like, even if he can't do streams at 220, he could manage a way around it, and that's what he did. And so that's why he lost. And no, 144 hertz does not help with Osu. That's why you have to think about what can I do better. Like even double tapping. Can I double tap better than him? Are you the same guy that said that 240, they're going from 60 hertz to 240 made you be able to read it Air 11? Cause yeah, that's not true. You can show me your Air 11 FCs if you want. Okay, not you. Yeah, someone said that, and that is not true. Well, yeah. Well, it's like improving your standards. If you like, if you play at a higher frame rate, you can't go back. But it won't improve you. Because like I said before, I made this, like, there's a billion videos on 144 versus 60 hertz. And it may be relevant for FPS games, but not for Osu. So say like, I think this is how, like, a good representation. So this is 60 FPS. Your frame rate, like, you have 60 FPS, 60 frames per second in this 1 second, and this is 1 second. And this is 144 in red. Just a bunch of lines. So the thing is, at most, the discrepancy between sync frames will be 12-ish milliseconds, I believe, and the lowest will be 0 to 12. So explain to me if higher refresh rate helps you read better when 12 milliseconds does nothing in terms of approach rate. If AR10 is 600 milliseconds, how will less than a fucking 0.5% difference help you in frame rate? And that's optimal too. It's anywhere between 0 and 5% actually. 0.0 and 0.5. Anywhere between that. You can't tell me that this tiny little 0.5% difference helps you, because it doesn't. And even on a 144 hertz monitor, I think the biggest difference you'll see is like something around 14.7 milliseconds, something like that. How will 14.7 milliseconds even on AR11, if the approach circles appear at 300 milliseconds, how will this help you read better with less than a 2% difference, and anywhere between 0 and 2% difference? That's the thing. Wait, no, this is anywhere between 0 and 5% actually. 0 and maybe 4.9%. You can't tell me that this will make you better, especially not all notes appear 5% faster for you, and not all of them. And yeah, well, if you want to get a 144 hertz for smoother gameplay, go right ahead, but don't tell me that you got better because of it. Don't fucking tell me that. And yeah, what will 5% do? And that's 0 to 5%. That's 5% at most. Okay? I'm not sure what the average is. I don't even know if the math is similar, but assuming the average would be 2% faster, what will 8 milliseconds do for you? Seriously. What will 8 milliseconds do for you on average in reading a fucking circle? You can't tell me that you know the difference between 8 milliseconds. 8 milliseconds is so fucking tight. I'm pretty sure the difference between an OD11, the timing window for hitting a 300 is 19.5 milliseconds total. So that is 9.75 on each side. You can't tell me that 8 milliseconds will make you be able to hit a 300, because it won't. Because it's not even your tapping isn't even determined by how you read or how fast you can react to. No, the thing is, fucking refresh rate isn't even related to tapping or offset. That's the thing. It's related to how early the approach circle will appear. So if this is the approach circle at AR11, you will see at best fucking the approach circles at exactly 300 milliseconds before it hits the circle. At best, okay? And even then, at worst, on a 60 fucking hertz monitor, it can be 285 at worst. How will that affect your fucking tapping? That won't affect your tapping at all. But like I said, you want to get a higher refresh rate because it makes things smoother, go for it. But don't expect to get better. That's like saying if you get a CTO 480, Wacom CTO 480, it'll make you better than if you would have got my tablet. So what if my tablet has fucking maybe 10 milliseconds of input delay and CTO 480 has fucking 5 milliseconds? That won't matter. That won't make you improve better. If that were the case, then how come every fucking person with CTO 480 is worse than me, I guess? So yeah, if it made it was 20 milliseconds, that would make a difference, but only for tablets. That's different for reading as well. And even then, this is AR11. Most people read AR10, which is 600 milliseconds. If you jump from 60 to 240 hertz, the difference will be the difference will be less than like, what is this? Fucking 0.5%, like I said. So how will that help you? Wait, is that 0.5? No, that's fuck. I can't do math. 2.5, I think. Wait, I don't know. 0.75, something like that. Better tech. No, it won't even help you a small bit, because the thing is, 5 milliseconds is negligible. Even if you have the most optimal setup, that won't make you better, because you just have to learn how to play. You just have to you have to get good regardless of setup. Like, I've used this example many times. Look at a Coral. Look at fucking Reviclia. Look at FG Sky. Look at, what was his name? Lord Kun. Those people have the worst setups in the fucking world, and yet they're one of the best players ever. Not because they have genetics, because they spend all their time playing, all their time improving. And Wuhua too. Doesn't he have like fucking? Doesn't he play on like 60 FPS and like 40 frames on OC or something? Yeah. And yeah, changing offset, changing offset you could determine. It's mostly on intuition at a certain point, but at the end of, assume you play an entire map correctly, like you don't mash or anything. You know how you have this little graph that goes from like red and then goes up and then now it's green or whatever. If you hover over that, it shows you your unstable rate between, like, let's say like negative 10.0 to like 10.12.0 or something. Basically, if you see this, you have to this is if you hit early, this is if you hit early, this is if you hit early, this is if you hit late. So basically, if you hit late, wait a minute, no, I'm doing this wrong. Okay. Oh, no, I'm right. Basically, if you hit late, you have to improve your okay, I don't know exactly the amount of time, but I think you improve your I think you change your offset by this number subtracted by this number, so 2 milliseconds. So yeah, so if you hit late 12 milliseconds, you improve your offset by 2 milliseconds. And obviously sometimes you have like, no matter what you play, it's like 15.0 versus like, wait, negative 15 versus like fucking 7. This is, if you change your offset every time, this is just probably because you mash all the time. The thing is, I know, like, no, it's weird. I know it's reasonable to think that if you go from 10 or 10 minus 12 and then like you just subtract 1, but the thing is, like, this is okay, so that's not true, because this is the range. This is like a 2 millisecond range of your average hits. If you subtract 1, then it's just 11 to 11, but where did that range go? You know, where did this discrepancy go? Basically, it just goes to 0, but that's not true. So yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's fucking my brain too, so don't worry. Basically, it's based on intuition or what I just showed before you. Obviously, if you get good enough, like, your error bar will look like this or whatever. Some green right here at its green, and then some blue, and some green, and then like yellow over here for fucking 50s. At a certain point, if you see like a bunch of like blue lines over here, and this is, say, OD10, because you play OD10 all the time, you're just like, oh, if I wanna change this to the middle, since it's OD10, you just move offset by like fucking -4, and that'll be fine. And yeah, if you look at the bar, just freehand that bitch. But yeah, even then, if you could just determine your offset by playing the first 10 notes of a map, like, say, even if your accuracy is really bad, say if your average is like, or say you hit 10 notes and it's like, it's right over here, your average sits around right here, even though your precision is bad, like your unstable rate, you could just move that by like, even that average by like -4 milliseconds, and then it'll be all in the middle, basically. Like, if you move that by -4, then all your hits will on average be on 300s. Do people say flow aim is cancer? You mean like cancer to practice? Because that's true. True and true. I think flow aim is really, really cancer to practice as well. I don't think people say flow aim is cancer because it's just like cancer, but it's cancer to practice. Because like I said, it's flow aim. It's not directly aim. It's a sub skill of aim. So say you have a space stream like this. Every top player can like follow these streams basically. But the thing is, say this is like the same speed. This is, or yeah, wait. Say the straight line is just a constant speed, and say these like wiggles are fluctuations in speed. So basically, when you hit streams, the reason why top players can't do them, like while they can aim the circles, they can't hit some circles because like at some point they fluctuate their speed and they end up like tapping a little bit too early or too late, like right over here, or maybe like say they tap right here, and then they fluctuate a little bit over here and tap too early, and then maybe they fluctuate a little bit more and tap too late basically. That's kind of like why stream aim is really fucking stupid, because it's just aim, like hovering over the circles is not, it's the easy part. The hard part is keeping a constant speed, trying to go through them at a constant speed. Single tap dying because the meta is alternating. Like when you see these big screen jumps over and over, like these repeat like 50 times, and this is 270 BPM, and this gives you like 800 PP, 270 BPM. Like obviously, if this will net you like 50 billion fucking PP for just alternating, and you'll have like 100 versions of these maps, then obviously you're gonna alternate. It's because of the meta, which is why single tap is dying as a playstyle. The meta back then also used to be like just hidden hard rock basically. Hidden hard rock and just like DNB maps. That's why people single tap. Because single tapping back then was really common as well, because it's easier to maintain like accuracy and finger control over slower BPMs just by single tapping. Meanwhile it is easier to maintain that same finger control when alternating, and it is hard when single tapping. While you have more control when single tapping, you have to develop the stamina to keep up with the speed, and not a lot of people have that. No, I don't focus on approach circles. That's why I could read hidden as well. Alternating halves BPM, true and true. Honestly, it's always worth learning alternating, especially full alt, because even if you're not part of the meta, at some point you're gonna play finger control maps, and you have like these stupid patterns where it's like this. Let me fucking draw them. So this is slider, okay, 1, and then a slider end, and then say this 2, and let's say this fucking 1, 2, 3, 4 new combo, and then another 5. Basically, why you want to learn full alt is because if you're fucking comfortable, if your dominant finger single taps this note, you have to learn how to start this stream with your non-dominant finger, and you will most likely mess up as well, because if you don't know how to control both your non-dominant finger and your dominant finger, then you can't do shit like this. You can't do these stupid fucking patterns like this. And you're probably going to miss this one too, because this also lands on your non-dominant finger. I don't understand why people was going crazy. It's clear that Pepiev said that, you know, he purposely makes laser unplayable, so then just to you know, yeah. I can't start streams with my weak finger. I've learned how to like hit triples. Say this is like 285 BPM. I've learned how to hit triples and then go to the other notes. Like say this is on non-dominant. Normally Normally, when I start this finger with my dominant finger, I would also have to start this circle with my dominant finger, but I learned how to not do that, basically. I've learned how to continue this, like, jump pattern, kind of, with full alt. And that's really important, because if you basically try to single tap or if you try to start these 4 notes with your dominant finger, you effectively single tap 285 BPM 3 times, and that is fucking stupid. I remember I actually used to alternate, and that was low BPM too. I could literally show you replay right now. Like, this is 200 BPM, and I've seen this about a year and 3 months in playing. And look at my fucking key presses. I used to know how to alternate. Wait, can you even see it? No, you can. Hold on. Look, I used to know how to fucking alternate. I used to full alt, basically. But I always would start sliders with my dominant finger. I don't know why. But everything else I would, yeah. I've lost the skill a very, very long time ago. And the only reason why I would do this is because I didn't have stamina to fucking single tap this map. But yeah, that's full alt. Like, alternating is pretty important, but as well as single tapping. But that's only outside the meta. Alternating is only important inside the meta. Or like, you don't need to learn how to single tap, and alternating, you can just alternate if you just only want to play for PP, basically. I only know about Shige. I think he went to the army, and I don't know where the fuck Vaxay is. I don't know why people ask me about Vaxay all the time. It's like, dude, we met up. We're both Americans. We're in the same state. I know exactly. I can pinpoint his location, and nobody's doing it all the time. I don't know what the fuck he's doing all the time. I'd say single tapping is pretty important, but nah, actually, I think the most optimal way to play this game is full alt, to be honest. Single tapping is like the trade-off between alternating versus single tapping is that alternating, okay, let's say alternating's right here, alternating, single tapping's right here. Let me move my fucking camera again. So the thing is, like, alternating, the pros is that less stamina required. That's a plus. Oh, wait, let me fucking wait, that's too small. Plus less stamina required, but the con is more control required and harder to act. Oh, fucking hell. More control required and harder to act, basically. Single tapping is basically the opposite thing. So the con is needs lots of stamina, but the pro is that lots of control, basically. These are pretty much the only two, like, things about alternating single tapping. Like, the two trade-offs is that one is that it one requires less stamina but has less control, and the other has lots of control but less, yeah. Hybrid, I don't know. Hybrid could probably be pretty good too. Yeah, alternating is better because, yeah, lots of more DT maps. You're not really gonna, you have like 1,000 fucking 8-star jump maps to FC and endgame. Meanwhile, with space streams, you have like 10 at most. Yeah, maybe it's because you just have bad act. So then, you know, if you have bad act, then alternating and single tapping is the same thing. So I'm sure every top player can tell you that it's 50 times easier to get like to single tap 180 BPM rather than alternating it. Like even if you both even if both have SS scores, the UR the unstable rate will look more like this versus like this tiny little bar. So yeah, you kind of have to like figure out the trade-off. And yeah, it's hard to like. There's just something about alternating that just makes it really fucking hard to control. I don't know why. I'm trying to like think of it, but I don't know. I can't explain it myself. My lowest yard was like 61 or something. I can't get sub 60 because I'm not a fucking unstable rate player. And that was on Night of Nights. I always like fuck up. So like you would see this, like you would see like 40 UR, and then randomly you'd see like a couple hits like really late, and this isn't every play I have. I don't know what's with me, and then this makes it go to 60 UR. No, even with alternating, like even with professional alternators, they still would like even if they didn't have a if they didn't have a dominant finger, you would still see this basically. You just don't see that in high BPM because it's easier to control high BPM, but like low BPM it's harder. It's crazy you are, really? I thought he got like 98% on every map. I mean, besides like jump only maps, but yeah. Pyrox thinks they're subbing. Because the OD is different. Yeah. See, Labs, that's exactly, you proved my point. You said there's no difference to you for alternating single tapping because you play on like OD fucking 6 or something. The hit window is so huge it doesn't fucking matter. $70? Well, okay, at that point it doesn't matter. If it's finger control, it doesn't matter. It's just, you know. I've seen like fucking people, even with single tapping, like they can get some ridiculous, like even better UR than that. But that's not even a good comparison. I'm talking about like just 180 BPM jumps. Now I'm not talking about like speed doubles or speed triples. Like both are equal, but the both are equal in terms of control. No. Yeah. Both are equal in terms of control. And in fact, single tapping is slightly better. It's just the trade-off is better to alternate because if it's like, yeah, the trade-off is just better if you alternate at that point for speed. Spam stream? No, you fucking try to play streams. You don't spam them. If you spam them, you always spam them. Yeah, that's though to get good at full alt. It's just a habit, basically, habit of tapping. I single tap. Single tapping does not help you streaming. It's true. Well, it depends. No. No, here's the thing. If you can't do single taps, if you can't do doubles, if you can't do triples and so on, you can't stream. So yeah. Okay, before you fucking continue this conversation, I swear to God, if you talk about comparing players ever again in my fucking chat, I will swing the banhammer on you so fucking fast, you won't even be able to appeal anymore. What's the point of fucking comparing players? Just accept people for their own accomplishments. Don't fucking compare people. Actually, so stupid. praising Spare? You're not fucking praising Spare. You're saying Spare is good is totally different from saying stupid shit like, dude, Spare can become WhiteCat. No, Spare can probably even become better than him, but just stop fucking comparing. Like, I just made a comparison right there. Just stop fucking comparing right there. Holy shit. And plus, who cares? Like, what's with just bringing up Spare being good out of nowhere have to do with the conversation? Don't fucking do that. Don't just be like, hey, I like Cookie Z more. I think he better. It's like, okay, shut up. I get it. You're a fucking fanboy. You don't fucking give a shit about the stream. If you don't give a shit, then just don't stop. Just stop watching. Easy. Yeah, you're fucking damn right. I don't like getting downgraded, and I don't like when other people get fucking downplayed because another person's better either. And shut up. Fucking banned. I already told you, if you compare players, you're fucking getting banned. It's so stupid, man. Dude, this stream went from like pretty good to just already downhill because I just told people to stop comparing people, and guess what people are doing now? Fucking idiots. You know, you don't deserve this shit. I'm fucking done. They're just gonna be trolling like that, then you don't fucking deserve this shit. And even then, I'm just done with streaming anyway, so yeah, it's not like because of this I'm stopping the stream. It's because I just don't want to stream anymore, and this just pushed that basically. So yeah, thanks for watching. But like I said, you're gonna fucking if you're gonna compare players in my chat, just expect to never be able to type in here ever again, basically. So yeah, have a good one. I'm gonna see if there's anyone to host.